السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Good evening, everyone. My name is Milaf Al-Qahtani. I'm the project lead in طويق Academy's collaboration with Nvidia. Thank you all for being here today. This collaboration with Nvidia the main goals are to enhance the Saudi talent as well as increase the AI technologies within the kingdom. I'm pleased to introduce Ms. Wei Zhao, the Nvidia's Regional Director of Developer Relations. She has played an instrumental role in bringing Nvidia's initiatives into the region. So please join me in introducing Ms. Wei Zhao.
Mahaba. Thank you for being here this evening to celebrate this moment with us. With Saudi Arabia's Vision 2030 and TWIG Academy's bold mission, the kingdom is reshaping its future where AI talents will become the true engine, the fuel of the next industry revolution. At Nvidia, we believe this transformation must be inclusive. As the AI leader, our mission is not only to advance technology, but also to democratize access to it. We want to ensure every student, every dreamer, every builder will have the opportunity to learn, to build, to lead. Through Nvidia's Deep Learning Institute, we are empowering the universities across the kingdom with complementary AI education. With the collaboration together with TWIG Academy, we nurture the next generation of AI leaders. You will inspire your peers, shape new industries, and accelerate the realization of Vision 2030. Shukran.
Thank you, Wei, for your insightful words. Now it's time to introduce our very own leader, our CEO, Mr. Abdulaziz Al-Hammadi, who continues to drive innovation and growth in طويق Academy. Please welcome Mr. Abdulaziz Al-Hammadi.
عبد العزيز تبي هذا؟
تست. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Thank you, Ms. Wei, for your outstanding words. فخور جدا والله ما شاء الله بالكم الهائل لحضور هذا اللقاء. غير مستغرب على عصر نعيشه اليوم مثل عصر الذكاء الاصطناعي تقود عدد مميز من الشركات على مستوى العالم. وإذا ذكر الذكاء الاصطناعي لابد أن تذكر انفيديا. شركة انفيديا الشركة العملاقة في هذا المجال نفخر فعليا بوجودها اليوم معنا لبناء القدرات اليوم على مستوى المملكة العربية السعودية والوطن العربي بشكل كامل. ونحن اليوم في أكاديمية طويق، الأكاديمية التي تستهدف دائما بناء القدرات الوطنية على مستوى جميع المجالات، ومجال الذكاء الاصطناعي يعتبر أهم مجال اليوم نركز عليه بشكل كبير جدا، ولذلك نذهب للقوي كذلك في هذا المجال ونعمل معه لإطلاق مثل هذه المبادرات المتميزة. وفخور جدا اليوم بهذه الشراكة لإقامة مثل هذا اللقاء مع شركة انفيديا. أكاديمية طويق وهي الأكاديمية التي خرجت أكثر من 35,000 خريج وخريجة خلال الأعوام القليلة الماضية. هؤلاء الأشخاص اليوم في مختلف القطاعات في المملكة العربية السعودية، بل حتى خارج المملكة العربية السعودية في مجالات عديدة، وبعدد كبير من المبادرات التي أطلقتها الأكاديمية. نسعد كذلك بتخريج أو توظيف أكثر من 80% من خريجي أكاديمية طويق الذين تخرجوا من الجامعات ومن ثم قاموا بإكمال مسيرتهم التعليمية للحاق بالتطور الكبير في المجالات التقنية عبر الانضمام لأحد معسكرات أكاديمية طويق. هذه المعسكرات التي تحاول ردم الفجوة ما بين مخرجات الجامعات والتسارع الكبير اليوم في سوق العمل. أكاديمية طويق هي مكمل أساسي للنظام التعليمي في المملكة العربية السعودية، ولكن أيضا تعمل تسريع لمواءمة القدرات والتحولات الكبيرة على مستوى العالم في المجالات التقنية. وأنا أعلم أن اليوم التحول الكبير جدا كمنظومة تعليمية اليوم في المملكة أو حتى على مستوى العالم في نظام التعليم العام أو الجامعي لن تستطيع اللحاق بهذه التطورات التقنية الكبيرة إلا بوجود مثل هذه الأكاديميات. ونفخر في أكاديمية طويق أننا نسعى فعليا لبناء هذا الجسر ما بين سوق العمل ومخرجات الجامعات. تم إقامة خلال الفترة الماضية أكثر من 2200 معسكر وبرنامج لبناء القدرات في مختلف المجالات التقنية. ونسعد كذلك أن معدل التسجيل في البرنامج الواحد يتراوح من 3000 إلى 5000 شخص يسجل فيه، ويكون معيار القبول والمفاضلة تف وشديد بشكل كبير لضمان فعلا قبول العدد الأكبر. وأيضا يعني أبشركم بدأنا نطبق فلاتر عادلة. يمكن أنا في الخلف قبل شوي عدد كبير من الناس سألني أنا والله ما انقبلت، أنا سجلت في معسكر وما جاني قبول من هالقبيل. طبقنا فلاتر عادلة بحيث أن نضمن العدالة في الاختيار لضمان قبول الأشخاص، حتى لو كان شخص يعني قبل في معسكر ماضي تكون الأولوية لمن لا يقبل في معسكر في نفس المجال حتى لا يكون هناك تكرار في عملية القبول، لكن بعدالة تامة. أيضا نبشركم أن اليوم أكاديمية طويق بدأت تتوسع على مستوى جميع مناطق المملكة. في اليوم تواجد الأكاديمية في 5 مناطق كمدارس طويق، بالإضافة إلى إطلاق معسكرات خلال القريب العاجل في مدن أخرى في جدة والشرقية والقصيم والمدينة، وأيضا أبها وحائل والرياض وغيره كثير من المدن التي ستكون هناك توسع كبير مع شركائنا في وزارة التعليم. أكاديمية طويق لديها عدد كبير من المنصات الأخرى كذلك. لدينا على سبيل المثال الأخوان في السايبر يعرفون منصة البق باونتي، وهي أحد المنصات التي نفخر في أكاديمية طويق بأنها ستساعد في يعني ممارسة من يحبون الاختراق واكتشاف الثغرات، وأيضا كسب عوائد مادية من الشركات والجهات الأخرى. كذلك لدينا منصة تحديات طويق، وهي تحديات برمجية وتحديات سبرانية لممارسة الطلاب الممارسات أو التحديات البرمجية والسبرانية بعد أن يقوموا بعملية التعلم. كذلك لدينا منصة سطر، أكبر منصة إلكترونية باللغة العربية لتعليم المهارات البرمجية والذكاء الاصطناعي والبيانات والأمن السبراني والتصنيع الرقمي والدرونز وغير الكثير من المجالات، ومنتهية بشهادة واختبارات أيضا. لدينا كذلك أندية الطويق أندية طويق في الجامعات. توسع الأندية اليوم على مستوى تقريبا 30 جامعة على مستوى المملكة لخدمة ودعم الطلاب. تم إطلاقها بشكل رسمي اليوم على مستوى جامعات مدينة الرياض، وجامعة الأميرة نورة، وجامعة الملك سعود، وجامعة الإمام محمد بن سعود. وفي القريب العاجل سيتم إطلاق هذا المسمى في الأندية أو في الجامعات الأخرى، وهي متواجدة في كثير من الجامعات اليوم بمسمى سايبر هب. أيضا مدارس طويق والتي نفخر أنها أول مدارس للموهوبين التقنية للصف من أول ثانوي إلى ثالث ثانوي على مستوى العالم للموهوبين في التقنية، وهي 10 مدارس اليوم متواجدة في المملكة، والعام القادم ستصل إلى 32 مدرسة متخصصة في المجالات التقنية. من الساعة 7 إلى الساعة 4 العصر الطلاب يدرسون التقنية بشكل مكثف، بالإضافة إلى مواد التعليم العام الأخرى، بالإضافة إلى عدد من المبادرات الأخرى. لذلك أكاديمية طويق هي أكاديمية للكل. مهمتها الرئيسية بناء القدرات الوطنية على مستوى البلد في المجالات التقنية. أحيانا تصل قيمة المقعد الواحد إلى أكثر من 120-130 ألف ريال، تقدم بشكل مجاني للمستفيدين، ولذلك لا نتوقف هنا. أكاديمية طويق دائما ما تستمر بجلب الجديد، محاولة الشراكة مع الأقوياء كما ذكرت في البداية، وحتى نطلق مثل هذه الشراكات هناك عمل دؤوب تم خلال الأشهر الماضية بقيادة زميلة لبناء فعلا قدرات وطنية اليوم على مستوى البلد في مجال الذكاء الاصطناعي. ويشرفني في هذه اللحظة أن نقوم بإطلاق تهيئة لإطلاق أول مركز للابتكار في الشرق الأوسط بالشراكة مع انفيديا. هذا مركز الابتكار هذا الأول من نوعه الذي سيكون بإذن الله في الفترة القادمة في الشرق الأوسط، ونحن الآن في حفل البري لانش أو تهيئة الإطلاق الخاص به. سيقوم هذا المركز بتوفير والتهيئة لإطلاق شهادات احترافية معتمدة من الشريك المتميز انفيديا، بالإضافة إلى تأهيل سفراء معتمدين على مستوى المملكة العربية السعودية من شركة انفيديا، بالإضافة إلى إطلاق برامج ومعسكرات متخصصة في بناء القدرات في مجال الذكاء الاصطناعي. هذه البرامج، المحتوى المقدم، كذلك المدربين سيكون بدعم كامل ومتميز من شركة انفيديا. ونفاخر دائما اليوم الحمد لله يعني المملكة العربية السعودية لا نرضى إلا أن نكون في المقدمة. هذا المركز الأول من نوعه بإذن الله سيكون على مستوى ليس فقط المملكة العربية السعودية، بل على مستوى كذلك الشرق الأوسط كاملا بإذن الله. وأيضا يسعدنا أن يعني كعربون بداية أن نقوم بإطلاق أول برنامجين كذلك، وإطلاق التسجيل فيها. من يقوم ودي أسوي مسابقة كذا، أقول أول ناس سجلوا ينقبلون، لكن للأسف ما أستطيع لأنه ما هو قراري أصلا القبول فيه. هذا البرنامجين وهي أول برنامجين سيتم إطلاقهم بإذن الله في هذا البرنامج وهذه الشراكة مع زملاء في شركة انفيديا، وهي الآن منشورة في الموقع الإلكتروني الخاص بمنصة أكاديمية طويق، وبالإمكان البدء في التسجيل. ليس هذا الكل، ستكون هناك عدد هائل من البرامج، وبإذن الله سيكون هناك آلاف المستفيدين من البرامج التي سيتم إطلاقها بشكل دوري خلال الفترة القادمة، والتي ستكون هذه البرامج نوعية ولأول مرة تقام على مستوى المملكة العربية السعودية، بل أيضا على مستوى منطقة الشرق الأوسط. هذه الشراكة بإذن الله سترون ثمارها في القريب العاجل على المستوى المعرفي لكم وأيضا لمختلف المستفيدين المنخرطين فيها. أيضا سترون بإذن الله أثرها جدا على مستوى المنشآت والجهات في القطاع الحكومي والخاص بمعرفة متميزة ومتجددة في عصر الذكاء الاصطناعي. أكرر الشكر. Thank you وشكرا لجميع فريق انفيديا الذي جعل من المستحيل حقيقة نعيشها اليوم، ونطلق التهيئة لإطلاق هذا المركز خلال الفترة القادمة بإذن الله، وشكرا لكم.
Thank you, Mr. Abdulaziz Al-Hamadi, for your kind words. That short video that you witnessed here today is just a short representation of طويق Academy, who we are, our vision, our achievements, but most importantly, the community that we have built and the community that we'll continue to build together. I'd like to announce that we'll have a discussion panel. First, I would like to introduce Ms. Wei up to the stage. Next, I'd like to introduce our very own Dr. Mohammed Al Khalifa. He's the head of our Research and Innovation Center at طويق Academy. And next on the panel, we'd like to introduce Dr. Sultan Al-Shahri, our AI advisor at طويق Academy. Please welcome. So during this panel, we'll discuss topics related to innovation, the Saudi talent development, as well as AI. So I'd like to direct the first question to Ms. Wei. I wanted to ask, how do you feel the global transformation in AI, and what role do you think Saudi Arabia plays in that towards, the race in AI? It's a never-ending race.
Thank you for the question. There are many parts to this question, so I want to decouple it a little bit. So purely from technology perspective, AI is evolving very fast. I had a brief chat with some of the participants today. I noticed that many of you are starting artificial intelligence right now. You probably noticed that ever since 2022, since the release of GPT models, we actually have been through a couple of generations. So from the trend perspective, we are not only in generative AI. What we're seeing today is agentic AI, where AI agents is capable of reasoning. They work in concert with each other. And what we predict will happen in the next couple of years is physical AI, where we combine artificial intelligence and physics. So to the second part of your question, Saudi has a bold vision 2030, where sovereign AI, AI sovereignty, is a critical component part of it. And when we talk about sovereign AI, it's all about utilizing your own infrastructure, your own AI talent, building your own large language model, and resolving regional use cases. So through all these pillars, AI talent's a critical component of it. And that's why we are here. We are forging this collaboration with TWIG Academy to democratize AI education to prepare the next generation of AI talents. Thank you.
Definitely, there's more to come. And I'd like to ask a question to Dr. Mohammed Al-Khalifa. How can innovative ideas evolve into real-world examples that genuinely improve people's lives?
Thank you so much, Milaf. I really appreciate your questions. Actually, bringing innovative ideas into existing life in different sectors, in health sectors, education sectors, require a lot of intensive work. From ideation to the idea itself to be innovative idea. The idea itself can be transfer knowledge in between the innovator or future innovation to the idea or to the commitment after the ideations or the idea itself. Require a lot of work, which is connecting the innovation itself into the researcher or a developer. It requires a lot of skills to need to develop. So, at TWIG Academy, we're bridging the gap in between those sectors. So in education sectors or in health sectors, innovation sectors or research sectors, by bridging those skills in between these sectors. We cannot even bridging those gap in skills unless we have technology leaders such as Nvidia in the field. Especially artificial intelligence require a lot of things to do with those sectors and impacting the whole global knowledge transfer in each field. I think what you can do in the future or closer futures, AI will be emerging and reshaping the future, especially knowledge transfer, making a knowledge transfer industrial from an heritage or transforming the age into the existing new life. This can't be happen unless we have one of the top technology leader in the region, such as Nvidia. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now for Dr. Sultan, I wanted to ask, what are the key skills in TWIG Academy that focuses on building a generation proficient AI technology?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I believe preparing the generation of AI era is not about teaching software. It's about shaping mindset. And I think if you heard about the leaders now of the technology in the world, it's building what we called it shelters, underground shelters. Lots of interpretations about why they are doing it, but I would say they are seeing something in the future is coming. And we are here, I think, have the same vision. We see something is coming about the AI. And this needs to prepare people first before teaching them software, the syntax, we teach them how to analyzing the problem, having the mindset of analyzing issues, the real problem in the industries, that one skills we need to have. Also, AI weekly changed, and we have lots of tools coming up. So the idea is not to know how to use the tools, but to know why the tools behave like this. And these skills need, first, continuous learning and having the passion to know why this model built and the purpose of it, and how can we build the same thing and behave like this model in our models. Third, I think we should bring also one of the skills important in the AI, the ethics and empathy. Ethics is not something we can say it's a minor thing in AI. We have to have the ethics mind also set to know exactly when we build our AI models, we have this principle direction in our inside to build the good things that we want to build.
Definitely, I agree. I think ethics is the most important, especially in this generation and upcoming generations, to make sure that moving forward in any AI technology, to have ethics involved. Now to Wei, I wanted to ask, what do you think are the key technologies at Nvidia that you're currently working on to empower the next generation of AI developers?
Like what I mentioned in the opening ceremony, that Nvidia is working with TWIG, with the university across the kingdom to democratize AI education. And Nvidia provides Deep Learning Institute, where we provide a complementary education through self-paced learning courses, as well as instructor-led workshops. And the curriculum covers a full range of topics, from fundamental of deep learning all the way to the more advanced topics, such as how to size GPUs during large language model inference stage. So through this collaboration, we're going to enable all the students, so you will be able to embark on this learning journey immediately for free.
Definitely. And can you emphasize a bit more about the NVIDIA Certified Ambassador, how that could benefit here in Saudi Arabia?
We, as part of the NVIDIA Deep Learning Institute program, we also have a special ambassador program where we nurture university instructors to become NVIDIA certified ambassadors. So once you become certified, you will be able to gain access to all the training materials offered through NVIDIA, including GPU access. And you will be able to utilize all this free material and GPUs to provide training to your peers, to your students. Yeah. So if you want to learn more about NVIDIA's ambassador program, join the November cohort session spearheaded by TWIG Academy, or if you have special questions, I will be here throughout the night to help you address those questions.
Perfect, thank you, Wei. Dr. Khalifa, I wanted to ask, what does the research ecosystem need in order to become a true source of a globally impactful AI?
Thank you so much for that. Very important question, actually. For research, for any kind of researchers, he require, technology, for instance, one of the main part. Still, he require a lot of skilled people who are going to run those research and run those technologies. Still, the gap still exists. However, if we can build data skills to gapping those, technology being featured to do any kind of research or targeting research in different fields, I think this is how we can make the innovation and development in that targeted sectors available or enabled. We have a little bit successful story at TWIG Academy. We enable research and development in the field of artificial intelligence. While before, almost 3 or 4 years ago, we just, thinking about applying artificial intelligence in different fields, like thinking about this, considering as a LLM. However, in AI, artificial intelligence, actually, in coming wave, which is we can wave 7 waves in artificial intelligence, will be reshape the whole industry in different fields. It's not going to be considered as a large model applications. However, it's going to be meant to be changing, reshaping the whole technology in general. Before building an architecture's system, server environment, and health environment, or ecosystem, or any kind of ministries, or whatever kind of architecture system you need to build, it's required a lot of a system or a server to be ahead of time before you're building your strategies. Nowadays, with advanced technologies, all these hassles and all these obstacles in the road to building those strategies can be avoided using artificial intelligence. For deep learning and predictions, designing a model as a framework to be running the whole sectors of the market lead in cybersecurity, and health, insurance, and banking, and so on. I think advanced technology will be enhanced and emerging the future technology in the region, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Is still also a part of TWIG Academy to upskill and reskilling the candidate who are going to be working on those technologies.
Definitely, I agree. I think with AI, it's always ever evolving. So it's great to have the research that kind of backs up everything that's changing, what's the gap in the market. And I think with the collaboration with Nvidia, we'll be able to see the gaps in the markets with that.
Perfect. Yes.
Thank you. Dr. Sultan, I wanted to ask, how has AI transformed the methods of training and education in this generation?
I think the AI changed the way we learn, the way we teach. Now the AI has become more adaptive, more personal than before. Before, we rely on a framework of learning. We have a resource that we can read. Now we can interact now with the resources we have. Lately, the Expedia have a report. They're losing more than 25% of people who rely on them as first knowledge to read. And the reason they're saying people want to interact more. That's when we say Elon Musk announced that they will have their own AI. They will have a kind of replacement for the Wikipedia. So AI makes the knowledge more valuable, faster to gain, and also easy to measure. Also to get instant feedback, content generation, we have it more with the AI.
Perfect. That's great to hear. I think AI in the beginning had a negative connotation in education, but it's great to see that it's ever evolved, and now that educational institutions are more open to that idea. And I think Twig Academy, we collaborate with schools and universities, and we're very open to that idea. So it's great to see that AI can give a good impact. Now, for the last question to Wei, I wanted to ask, in your point of view, how can technologies such as generative AI reshape the future for scientific research? A bit technical.
Yeah, generative AI is already reshaping everything around us, including research. An example I can give you, last week I got the opportunity to chat with a professor, a researcher from Coast. He's utilizing generative AI to do climate tech model, and the foundation model is capable of predict flooding. Another example, drug discovery. Because generative AI is all about looking for patterns out of large amount of unstructured data, life science scientists began to utilize generative AI to do protein design, to do drug discovery.
Wow, it's very interesting to see.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And one thing I want to mention is Nvidia actually provides academia grant program, which is available, accessible through Nvidia website. So for the researchers out there, if you are doing generative AI research, check out the grant program, submit your application. And in the past cycle, we were able to provide grants to local researchers. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for such an insightful and productive conversation. I hope that all of you guys learned a couple of things. I sure have learned as well. And just wanted to say thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Yes. يعطيكم العافية. شكرا. Now, before we start our workshop, we'll be giving around a 50-minute break. So let's try to be back here at around 6:10, so we can kickstart our workshop with Nvidia. So thank you, everyone.
So through CUDA library, we offer over several hundreds libraries through the CUDA-X platform. So there are specific libraries for example, data framework, specific libraries for machine learning. CUDA, for example, has been fully integrated into TensorFlow and PyTorch for enhanced performance during training stage. So this slide is for more technical audience. So far, we talked about the GPU, we talked about the CUDA layer, and what sits on top of CUDA layer is more important. So this is what NVIDIA's software stack looks like. So if we look beyond the hardware layer, we have the system software layer. The system software layer, the beauty of it is everything here is open source. So NVIDIA takes two approaches. One is the open source approach, one is enterprise licensed model. So for startups, developers, researchers, if you do not want to choose the licensed model, you can certainly look into the open source code, cherry pick certain components from the code and integrate into your own code base. So I will give you a few examples. First, accelerated data science tool called Rapids. It's a pure Python framework, Python APIs. I know many of you are data science. You probably already utilize the Python ecosystem libraries and APIs like NumPy, scikit-learn. But one challenge you will face once your data volume grows is those APIs were specifically designed for CPUs, which means once your data volume reaches a certain threshold, doesn't matter how many CPUs you add to your infrastructure, the performance of your solution will not scale any further. That's the point you need to switch from CPU to GPU and begin to utilize tools like Rapids to harness the power of parallel computing. Rapids is an open source tool. It has been widely adopted by the community. A local example, Lucidia, one of the most promising AI startups in the kingdom, is utilizing Rapids library to build their data analytics framework. Walmart, the world's largest retailer, is utilizing Rapids and Nvidia GPUs to do inventory management. We talk about generative AI in today's session. And when you run generative AI workload, one of the most critical component is the inference time. When you ask a question, ask a ChatGPT a question, you're expecting you will be able to get the answer immediately. That's why inference time, inference speed matters. So NVIDIA rolled out a TensorRT large language model specifically to help you accelerate your workload during the inference stage. So here we combine different techniques. So for example, when you train your model, you can utilize 32-point precision training. When you run your model, probably 8-bit is sufficient enough. So we do the conversion in real time during the inference stage. When you run your large language model, scalability matters as well. Chances are you need multiple GPU clusters, multiple GPU nodes to run the workload. So how can you build a scalable solution that easily scale out and scale up? That's where Triton Inference Server can be plugged in. In the meantime, NVIDIA offers a model zoo, which I will show you towards the end of the session, where you can play with it, and we also provide tokens, unlimited number of tokens for registered NVIDIA developers for you to try out at our playground. So moving to the application layer. So at the top layer, you can see these are the different SDKs, frameworks that we designed for different industry verticals. Modulus is for physical realistic model training. Manai is an open source tool for medical imaging. And we have tools like robotics, intelligence, intelligent video analytics. And today's session, I will only focus on one of these tools called NeMo Framework. NeMo Framework is NVIDIA's cloud native end-to-end tool to help you train, customize, augment, and inference large language model workload. And probably the other I can quickly talk about, the recommender system is based on large language model as well. Foodix again, one of the KSA-based startup, is utilizing Nvidia's Merlin recommender system for their restaurant recommendation. So far, we talked about GPU. We talked about one layer up, which is the CUDA layer. We talked about the software stack on top of that. Is that the full picture? So this is Nvidia's offer. We provide a full stack approach. So on top of the accelerated computing infrastructure, on top of the software framework, we also package everything into microservices to make sure they're easily deployable, easily scalable. A lot of these microservices, for example, NIM stands for NVIDIA Inference Microservices. You can deploy it anywhere, on-prem, in the cloud, to help you scale up, scale out your large language model inference workload. On top of that, we also closely collaborate with all the open source creators, Llama, Mistral, Germa, and DeepSeek, so on and so forth. We want to make sure all these models are fully optimized for NVIDIA GPUs. And all these models, optimized models, are published through NVIDIA's Model Zoo within the same day they are being publicized. In the meantime, NVIDIA also rolled out our own open source models called Nemotron. There are a couple of different versions designed for different type of use cases. And by utilizing tools like Nemo, you will be able to customize these open source models for your own domain-specific use cases. Great. I noticed that most of our audience here are actually technical audience, so you're already pretty familiar with this. So no one can deny the impact of generative AI anymore. And like I said, agentic AI is a new category of generative AI that began to operate virtually, began to impact all these industry verticals. It can make complex decisions, take actions based on continuous learning and analysis of vast amount of data set. AI-powered agents can be deployed and integrated into financial services, healthcare, e-commerce. And agentic AI models, they're not only able to do inference, they're capable of doing reasoning as well. So we're really entering the second stage of generative AI, where we begin to see more and more large language model powered real-life use case. So for those who are non-technical, you heard the word large language model a lot in the past few years. So LLM have revolutionized natural language processing by providing models that generate coherent and fluent text. Large language models are a category of foundation models trained on massive amount of unstructured data, utilizing algorithm that is capable of looking for patterns and structures out of them. And they're pre-trained and they can be fine-tuned for specific tasks. When generative AI momentum first come around, you probably noticed a lot of companies worked on large language model training. And in the past few years, we began to see a significant shift that AI workload is shifting from training to inference. Right now, based on our survey, roughly 60% of the generative AI workload is on the inference side, which means people really began to develop generative AI-enabled applications. So one thing I want to call out here is the terminology of token, since we're going to talk about this later. So token is really the basic unit of text the model processes, representing a word or part of a word or even a caricature, which is utilized as the building blocks for understanding the language. So This is a large language model ecosystem tree, and these powerful models have shown great potential in addressing a variety of natural language processing tasks. So there are different branches in the large language model ecosystem. Decoder-only models have been gradually dominant the development of large language model. At the early stage of large language model development, decoder models were not as popular as encoder-only and encoder-decoder models. However, after 2021, with the introduction of GPT-3, decoder-only models experienced a significant boom. So all these are based on the transformer model proposal. The attention is all you need paper. So one thing I want to draw your attention here on this slide is open source large language models began to gain popularity. So like I said, when GPT model first came out, we began to see foundation models like Anthropic or other foundation models. At that time, most of the foundation models were closed ecosystem models. However, things began to change. In 2 years ago, open source models like Llama model released by Meta, and Google followed the footprint, released Germa, and then we began to see a growing ecosystem of open source models. Why is this important? Because open source model gives everyone the base to develop your own solutions. So many of you are very young. You probably do not know what happened when the mobile industry began to shape up. Mobile industry become mobile industry because operating systems like Android was open source. And the developers, mobile developers, were able to create applications on top of the open source Android platform. And because of that, it created a fully fledged ecosystem. And that's what's happening in the generative AI landscape right now. Because of these open source models, you do not have to train models from scratch. And it's a very costly process. We estimate the foundation model behind the ChatGPT was, the training cost was, probably 30 to 100 million US dollars. And the cost was, getting bigger and bigger. But instead of training from scratch, now, because of two technologies, open source is one of those, because of open source model and the RAG technology, everyone has the capability to augment an existing model for your own domain-specific use case. So that's why open source is important. So we talked about open source. I will spend 1 minute to talk about RAG, retriever augmented model. So retriever augmented generation. So this is a technique which I will dive a little bit deeper in the following slides. RAG is also important because, for enterprises, for your specific use cases, you have your own data. Probably the foundation model was not trained. They didn't have access to your own data set for specific training purposes. That's why instead of training from scratch, you can utilize the existing foundation model, augment it with your own data set, utilizing RAG, and make it more customized for your own use case. So because of open source foundation model, because of RAG, we began to see a proliferation of generative AI use cases around us. So I talked a lot about Nvidia. So what is Nvidia's intrinsic value? Everyone heard about Nvidia, but what's Nvidia's true differentiator? This is what I want to explain in this slide. I believe all of you utilize the OpenAI. It provides Whisper APIs to help you build AI-enabled applications. But do you know what type of GPUs are you using? Do you know the first token time you can achieve from these GPUs? Do you know the number of tokens your GPUs are capable of generating for you? Do you have control of the performance of your model? Many of the startups I work with started with OpenAI or the closed ecosystem tools to build a prototype. It's great, it helps you accelerate your time to market, but it's not a scalable solution. Once they began to scale, they realized that they have no control of the data because they have to upload their data to a third-party website for customization and augmentation purpose. There's no data governance. They don't know what type of GPUs they're using. As a result, they don't know the performance mileage they're able to get out of the GPUs. Performance is the second issue. And as a result, there is a third issue, which is the cost. Because you are not able to control the performance of your infrastructure, you don't know the cost of your implementation once you scale up your solution. So that's what Nvidia's open ecosystem approach is trying to provide. So through Nvidia's open ecosystem approach, the foundation models we provide, you can run your solution anywhere across data centers on-prem. You have a full control of your data. And a lot of people, they already have solutions running on AWS, Microsoft Azure, or OCI. You can choose a hybrid cloud model. So all these hyperscalers began to roll out a hybrid cloud service, which can be utilized as an extension of your cloud service. For example, Azure rolled out Azure Local, OCI rolled out a DRCC. So where the control plane can run on your local setup versus your data or your previous implementation can still run on the remote cloud service. So you will be able to enjoy the best of both worlds. And this is a managed GPU infrastructure, and because of this, you will be able to predict the cost of your implementation. So I think this is a very important slide. I really want to help you understand this is what NVIDIA is all about. Not only we're a full stack accelerated computing platform, but on top of that, we promote an open ecosystem approach where you can have a full control of your data, performance, and the cost of your generative AI implementation. So I briefly mentioned this in the panel discussion, and we think this is where we are with the AI wave right now. Ever since the release of AlexNet back in 2012, we actually already gone through a couple of AI generations. First, it was perception AI, where we utilize classification to analyze speech or image. Then followed by generative AI, and it's already reshaping industries like digital marketing, so on and so forth. Now, agentic UI use cases are everywhere around us. An example is code assistance. For example, companies like Cursor, Codium, they develop code assistance tools. Even here in the kingdom, we began to see code generation developers, those deep tech startups began to emerge. That's really exciting. So even within NVIDIA engineering team, our engineers began to utilize code generation tools for improved efficiency. Customer service is another very popular use case. Customer call centers are being revamped through AI technology. Patient care, healthcare, digital agent, digital nurses use cases began to emerge as well. In the meantime, as I mentioned, we began to see more and more physical AI use cases begin to emerge. This is where we combine physics with artificial intelligence. Use cases including robotics, autonomous driving cars, and climate tech prediction utilizing high-fidelity, physical, realistic prediction models. So we talked about AI agent, agentic AI, and this is where in the middle of right now, the world of reasoning, where agentic AI plays a significant role. So agentic AI is transforming how everyone will work AI agents are transforming the way we work, from knowledge workers to software developers to scientists and call center agents. These agents are not just automating tasks, but collaborating alongside with each other to help us get more completed. So if one large language model is one human brain trying to produce a result, AI agents are like a bunch of people sitting in a meeting room doing brainstorming. So you combine your thoughts together to generate a consolidated result. So that's what AI agents is all about. And in order to make these AI agents work in concert with each other, inference time matters, because the result from the first large language model needs to be passed on to the second large language model, needs to be passed on to the third language model, so on and so forth. So in order to make sure all these different large language models work in a cohesive, accelerated manner, it poses a lot of challenges during the inference stage. And that's also why NVIDIA rolled out the NIM, NVIDIA Inference Microservices, to help you accelerate and scale inference workload. So AI agents are ushering a new level of automation. Instead of manually programming every line of code, you can utilize code generators to help you. So similarly, you can have different agents, like a coding agents, a QA agents, to build this full pipeline. AI agents will plan, what tools to use to best answer the question, retrieve information across different tools, and even talk to each agent, to other agents, to come up with the results. So they utilize large language models to generate a plan and reason through how to solve the problem. So I do have another video here. This is a healthcare agent, it's a nurse. Again, I'm not sure if we're able to hear the audio. So this actually demonstrates how the patient interacts with the digital nurse and retrieve her medical information, her medication recommendation based on her description. Yeah, we're not able to hear the audio, but this part is basically the patient interacts with the nurse, digital nurse, to come up with medical recommendation. And this solution was developed by a startup called Hippocratic AI. The demo you see here, actually there are 18 agents working in concert with each other in order to produce the result. So you can imagine the workload running behind this is quite significant. Cool. Again, the following part is a deep dive session. Probably will take us 15 minutes or so. It's specifically designed for more advanced technical audience. So we're going to talk about NeMo framework, how you can utilize NVIDIA NeMo to build generative AI solutions. As mentioned, NVIDIA NeMo framework is a cloud-native end-to-end framework that covers the full life cycle of large language model, from data curation, model training, customization, augmentation, guardrail, to inference. And every step of this journey, we packaged it into a microservice. So if you only want to utilize certain components, for example, the data curation part, you only need to utilize the data curator. Or, for example, you can simply utilize the Megatron core for specific use cases and workload. So I will explain each of these components. Data curation. NeMo frameworks help you simplify the complex process of data curation. It helps you effectively extract, deduplicate, and filter information from massive amount of data. And this sets the stage for your training process to help you utilize high quality data. One thing we often talk about is garbage in, garbage out. If the data is not clean, you will not be able to train high quality machine learning models. The second part is optimized distributed training called Megatron Core. This is NVIDIA's secret recipe. Here, we implemented different parallelism techniques to really harness the power of parallel computing provided by NVIDIA GPUs. Model customization, once your foundation models are trained, you can easily adapt them to different type of tasks, adding functional skills and extended with specific domain information, and also have the opportunity to continuously refine your model with different techniques. Also, as mentioned, deployment really matters, from a scalability perspective, from acceleration perspective. That's why NeMo integrates seamlessly with the lower level APIs. If you remember when I showed you the software stack, we talk about in the middle layer, there's an open source layer where we have accelerated inference to TensorRT large language model, where we have the scalable deployment to Triton inference server. So NeMo framework take advantage of those tools to help you build accelerated and scalable inference solutions. I mentioned NIM, so this is what NIM is all about. So in order to optimize your inference workload, NVIDIA rolled out this inference microservice called NIM. It's a fully optimized solution to help you maximize your token throughput during the inference stage. And we also package all the dependencies into NIM, so it's deployable everywhere. And of course, the Triton inference server, the scalability tool is packaged as part of this as well, so you can build scalable inference solutions. So why NeMo? Why do we want to talk about this? There are 3 challenges NeMo is trying to help you to resolve. The first challenge is build challenge. When you train your large language model, these are the challenges you run into: data set and the scalable training. So the amount of data created each day is mind-blowing, and the amount is growing exponentially. This large volume of varied data are unstructured, unorganized. A significant amount of the data around us is also inaccurate, irrelevant, or probably redundant. So this makes it very difficult and time-consuming for data engineers, data scientists out there to extract the information they need in order to train highly accurate models. So in the meantime, data must comply with certain regulatory or security requirements and must not contain any personal identifiable information, so such as email address or phone numbers, so on and so forth. So high quality data ensure the model learn accurately and generalize well, leading to more reliable output. So this is what a data curator helps you. So data curator is a simple Python API, specifically designed for fast and scalable dataset preparation and curation for generative AI type of use cases. And the second part, we talked about Megatron. So these are the different techniques incorporated into Megatron. So there were different parallelism techniques. For example, tensor and pipeline parallelism, sequence parallelism, expert parallelism. So the basic concept is once you have a complex model, you can divide it into different layers and have different layers running on different GPUs. Or you can replicate all these layers onto each of these GPUs, but each of them process different data set. So through these techniques, you are significantly improving the training performance. The second problem that NeMo is trying to help you to resolve is the customization and augmentation challenge. We don't have to dive deeper here, but for those who are interested, you can see these are the different techniques we enabled under the NeMo umbrella, from zero-shot learning, few-shot learning, all the way to fine-tuning. So depending on the complexity of your model, depending on the data set you are leveraging, you can utilize the Python APIs provided by NVIDIA NeMo to build those type of solutions. Yeah, we'll pause for a second. I noticed that some of you are taking photos. So in the meantime, we provide a RAG capability. So this is what a RAG pipeline looks like. And even during RAG pipeline, there are certain considerations, because when you build a RAG pipeline, you need to utilize a vector database. Is your vector database enabled by NVIDIA GPUs? So that's why NVIDIA rolled out NeMo Retriever, NeMo Re-ranker to help you improve the efficiency when you build your RAG pipeline. Great. So we talked about the first two challenges. And the third challenge, we already covered it in previous slides, is the inference challenge. That's where NVIDIA NIM plays a role here. So NIM combines the ease of use and operational simplicity of managed APIs. In the meantime, the flexibility and the security and the control of self-hosting models on your infrastructure. And it comes with everything you need during inference stage, so it's easily deployable as a microservice. So this is the NIMs we created and open sourced for different domains. You will be able to find them through NVIDIA website. So we have NIMs specific for language models. As you can see here, Llama model, Cohere model, Germa. We have a visual multimodality model, NIM as well. And optimization simulation. So these are designed for route optimization, and climate Earth 2, which is designed for climate prediction. And as mentioned, generative AI is already reshaping life science. Many drug manufacturers utilizing generative AI to do protein design, to really analyze the pattern in the amino acids and looking for patterns in between. So different biological NIMs as well. Great. So one more thing I want to cover here is NVIDIA blueprints. AI is complex, and building a solution end-to-end is, it's a heavy lifting work. So that's why NVIDIA rolled out what we call blueprints. So think about this as recipe books, where we provide detailed instruction about all the recipes you need to cook a meal and a step-by-step procedure. So all our blueprints are based on open source code. We let you know what type of data set we used, what open source foundation model we utilized, what NeMo framework component we leveraged to build these solutions. So by following this blueprint step by step, you can easily create AI solutions. So here are some examples that is open sourced through NVIDIA website. So for example, we have blueprints for virtual agent for customer service, for video search and summarization, so on and so forth. Great. So let's move on to talk about use cases. You already saw a lot of use cases in the video. I want to show you some of the use cases developed in the Middle East region. So most of the use cases I will going to work through are developed here in KSA, UAE, or Egypt. So let's take a look of different industry verticals. Beyond the Limit is California and UAE-based solution provider. They utilize generative AI, also utilize traditional computer vision type of algorithms to build solutions for energy sector. Their customers include Saudi Aramco, Shell, BP, so on and so forth. So traditionally, they developed computer vision solutions for the energy sector. So in this specific example, they utilized the Nvidia GPU accelerated reinforcement learning solution to optimize well placement decision by identifying several thousand combinations in order to reduce for improved reservoir placement decision. So their solution identifies several thousand combinations, reduced from 100 trillion possible combinations, and guaranteed to yield near optimal result in a typical reservoir. In the meantime, for Saudi Aramco, Beyond the Limits also developed large language model solutions for documentation automation, which is capable of processing Arabic language as well as English. So they automate the full document process. And they also build a solution for Shell for route optimization, utilize the Nvidia CoolOpt library. So when this energy truck's moving around, we want to make sure it takes the most optimized route. So they tapped into Nvidia CUDA library and the CoolOpt framework to build that solution. So let's move on to smart space. Nvidia has a framework called DeepStream framework, a DeepStream SDK specifically designed for computer vision use cases. It helps you build the full computer vision pipeline. Masterworks is, again, a Riyadh-based company. They have been around for 10 plus years. They utilize the Nvidia DeepStream SDK, TensorRT, to build surveillance solutions. Their latest project is actually with Riyadh Export, where they utilize the Nvidia RTX GPUs, DeepStream, TensorRT to build surveillance system. They are also tapping into Nvidia's NeMo framework to build a large language model solution. So what we have been observing in the smart space area is AI agents type of use cases began to grow. So we began to see many visual language model, VLM use cases around us. So VLMs with many personalities and specialties, they're capable of reasoning on images, archived videos, or real-time videos. And many of them can be fine-tunable, and they really changing the smart space use cases around us. So let's see a video. I don't think you will be able to hear the audio, but it's easy to figure out how visual language models is reshaping computer vision. So this is utilizing visual language model to detect violation. And you can see there's a prompt. So the second guy didn't scan his badge, which was captured by the video. Yeah, so we began to see many these visual language models are reshaping smart space computer vision. So healthcare and life science. Also, this is a Qatar startup. They are building healthcare large language foundation model. So it's a pretty inspiring story. The founder of the startup, his kid got sick and he couldn't find the solutions around him. And he began to decide to utilize his AI knowledge to do AI assistant diagnosis. And over these years, he accumulated a lot of experience. And in order to make the diagnostic model more efficient, more accurate, he trained his own healthcare large language model from scratch. So the system has been fully integrated into all the top hospitals in Qatar and over 100 clinics in the US. So the second part of this foundation model is also capable of supporting digital medical, because a lot of doctors are facing doctor burnout between patient's diagnosis and keep tracking of the medical record. They do not have enough time. So what the model is capable of doing is to capture the live discussion between patient and the doctor, filter out irrelevant information, and capture the medical related information into medical record, fill out the system. In the meantime, the third capability that unleashed by this model is integration with insurance company. So doctor doesn't have to go one extra step to file claims. Everything is being streamlined. So this is an Egyptian startup called Protinia. Like I mentioned, they're utilizing generative AI to do drug discovery. They utilized the Nvidia NeMo framework extension called BioNeMo for this purpose. Cool. So I have two more videos. These are specifically for media and entertainment. I think it will be really fun if we can hear the voice. So this one is an AI dubbing model. It's created by a startup called Camp AI based out of UAE. So they're doing real-time translation. So as I'm speaking English here, my narrative can be translated to Arabic in real time. That's the capability provided by Camp AI. Unfortunately, we're not able to hear the audio. Yeah, this one, again, without the audio, I'm not sure if we will be able to get the full scope of it. So this is a Kuwait startup called Cine Magic. They're reshaping the advertisement creation industry as well as movie industry by utilizing generative AI visual language model to generate this digital content. Yeah, so if you Google, if you go to YouTube, you will be able to find this video yourself. So check them out after today's session. I think it's a really immersive experience. Great. So one more example, probably, calamity tech.
Again.
Okay, so let's try again to see if we're able to hear the audio. Let me try to close, and yeah, sometimes this is. Let's see. Okay, but again, you will be able to find this video clip from YouTube, Camp AI. They also open sourced their ASR model called Mars 5, which is available through Hugging Face. Cool, let's move on to talk about climate tech. Global warming is really impacting everyone. So this is a UAE-based startup called FortiGuard. They challenge they're trying to resolve is urban heat result in significant economic and social consequences. So they're developed a temperature operating system in order to capture outdoor temperature with unparalleled resolution. And they can reach the altitude accuracy between 0.5 and 10 meters, really give you a very comprehensive view of the temperature variation around us. So in order to build this solution, as you can see here, they utilized the NVIDIA CUDA library. So everything here from cool machine learning, cool data frame to spatial, they're being utilized to do the data analytics in the background. Yeah, again, this is a video. Let's see, at least I think you will be able to understand what's going on here. So this is a climate prediction model, utilized NVIDIA high fidelity physical realistic model training tool called Modulus and the NVIDIA Earth 2 solution to simulate climate around us. And in this specific example, it simulated a typhoon situation in Taiwan. I guess it takes a minute to load. Cool. So everything is simulated utilizing NVIDIA GPUs, and the software part utilized NVIDIA Omniverse. So everything is simulated utilizing NVIDIA technology. We created a digital twin of Taiwan utilizing the high fidelity physical realistic training tool to simulate the situation when typhoon happens and the impact it can potentially generate. So it will be highly beneficial to government, city planners, and individual citizens. Let's bring this home. Early this year, we announced the upcoming GPU infrastructure with Humane. In the first deployment, 18,000 NVIDIA GB300 GPUs will be deployed here in the kingdom. So it's a very exciting moment because, like I said, AI talents, AI infrastructure, regional large language model, and regional use cases, those are the key pillars of Vision 2030. That's what help us build a sovereign AI. So we're excited that we will be able to bring this infrastructure to the local talents. Again, I don't think I will be able to show this AI factory here, but this video demonstrates the full scope of NVIDIA's offering. So this is what we're building in the kingdom. It's not a data center, it's an AI factory that encompasses everything you learned about today. And to make this even more exciting for all the learners out there, we want to make sure you get started with NVIDIA's learning journey from today. So you can utilize this QR code to redeem $190 free self-paced Deep Learning Institute courses, and it will guide you through different large language model related topics. So thank you, and after a short break, we will begin our hands-on session. Let me hand over to Milaf.
السلام عليكم. بناخذ بريك 10 دقائق بعدين نرجع الوركشوب راح نبدا البراكتيكال ليرنينج. والكيو ار كود راح نحطه لكم بعد نخلص الوركشوب. راح يكون عندنا بعد لقاء تفاعلي Q&A session if you have any questions for the Nvidia team as well as we have a guest coming on. فالحين ناخذ البريك ل10 دقائق.
Great. So if you have a laptop with you, let's go to build.nvidia.com. I want to show you a couple of things. So as I mentioned in the presentation, that NVIDIA is not only hardware, GPU creator, not only provides the software layer. On top of the fully fledged software component, we also have models ready that you can utilize out of the box. And this is where you can find all the models we support. So if we click more models, you can try out different type of models. So there are AI smart models called Prakit. So we support Queen, we support DeepSeek, all these open source models. So let's utilize NVIDIA Nemotron model. This is the smallest version called Nemotron Nano as an example to see what API point looks like and how you can utilize Python APIs to integrate this into your code base. Nemotron model can be utilized as a reasoning model. So that's why here you can find a toggle. By default, it has the reasoning capability turned on. So you can ask a question, which number is larger? And this is a step-by-step explanation. So it's thinking out loud and produce the result you need. You can also try to turn off the reasoning capability. So the other part I want to show you is, not the parameter part. The deployment part. Yeah, so in order to deploy this, this is what you need to do. So in your environment, you can pull and run NVIDIA inference microservices, the NIM. And in order to test it out, this is the bash part. So from a curl command, you can do this. And in order to utilize Python APIs, so this is what the full Python API code looks like. So once you have a foundation model, utilizing this couple of lines of code, you will be able to run inference on the code directly. And one thing I want to draw your attention here, as you can see, we support OpenAI API. So it's third-party compliant. You can easily utilize the knowledge you already have to run inference against the models NVIDIA outsource. Yeah, so it's as easy as this if you want to begin to leverage NVIDIA's ecosystem models to build your solutions. Cool. So the second part here, a couple of our audience asked about where to access GPUs. NVIDIA acquired a company called Brev last year. So Brev provides a tool here. So it's loading. So from build.nvidia.com, you can find this brev.dev console where we consolidate GPU resources together. And you can lease GPUs from here. So it's straightforward. Yeah, I think because we have several hundred people here, this probably takes longer than it should. Okay, let's move on. The other, now it's showing up. So you can see through all these tier 2 cloud service providers, you will be able to access different flavors of NVIDIA GPUs, from Hopper GPU to the previous generation of Ampere GPU, L40S GPU. So L40S is actually a very popular GPU for large language model inference workload. So for inference, you do not have to go all the way to the Hopper GPU. L40S should be sufficient enough. Yeah, so this is the breadth part. The other part I want to show you is the blueprint. I think it's very interesting if you just get started with your AI application creation. So again, from build.nvidia.com, click on the blueprints. You can find this is what NVIDIA blueprints looks like. So here we already rolled out different recipe books for different type of use case. Again, let's use building a virtual assistants as an example here. So if you look at the blueprint card, you can see we provide step-by-step documentation of the architecture of your virtual assistant. You know, what type of microservices we used. And the detailed instruction. Yeah, so what type of GPUs you need, what type of models utilized for embedding, for re-ranking, for synthetic data generation. So when you create solutions, do not start from scratch, always referring to existing resources. Great, so let's move on. So in today's session, because we spend a lot of time talking about generative AI and the agentic AI, so in the hands-on portion, I want to guide you to build your own AI agent solutions. So in order to do this, we're going to utilize a third-party tool called Crew AI. So Crew AI is NVIDIA's customer and partner. They build this solution on top of NVIDIA NIM, and you can utilize to create a multi-agent scenario. And also they provide this Jupyter notebook sandbox environment. So it's very easy for us to get started and utilize this sandbox to try out different things. So here, in order to utilize the tools offered by Crew AI, we have to go through some video training. So I think what I will do here is let's spend 10 minutes or so to watch this video together, so you will understand the basic components you need in the Python code to build your own AI agents. Then we will move on to the hands-on portion. I will guide you through the first 2 to 3 Jupyter Notebook exercises to help you understand the key component of AI agent. Then following that, you can do anything you want. You can build a job search agent, you can build a customer service multi-agent system, or anything you can create leveraging these tools. We also have, I think, 20 mentors who really spend time ahead of today's masterclass to go through the course themselves. So once we reach that portion, our mentors, feel free to mobilize yourself and guide other students here to build something on their own. So thank you, mentors, ahead of time for your dedication. Cool, so let's watch this video together, which will help you understand the key components Crew AI offers, and we can also incorporate the knowledge we just learned through the workshop into the hands-on portion.
First of all, congratulations on signing up for this course. This is going to be great. I'm so excited to dive into this with you. we're going to learn everything there is to know about agents. And in this first lesson, we're going to understand what makes them tick, how they work, and even look at some of the examples that we're going to build together throughout the entire course. So let's dive in real quick. So in this course, we're going to talk about so many different things, so many interesting concepts. I want to just highlight a few so that you know what you're going to see. We're going to be talking about role-playing. We're going to be talking about agents that are able to focus, to use tools, to cooperate with each other. We're going to really dive into how guardrails are crucial to make agents work and how memory can make them so much better. We're going to talk about all the different ways that agents can collaborate, not only working sequentially and hierarchically, but also asynchronously. There's so many different options. So make sure that you stick around because we're going to build a lot of different crews throughout the different lessons.
A crew is a team of AI agents working together, each with their own defined roles. Don't worry if you don't know what this means yet. That's what this course is about.
We're going to start with an overview where we're going to build a simple research and write crew. But we're going to go all the way to build more complex ones, building a customer support crew, a customer outreach crew, an event planning agent system, and a financial analysis agent system. And then to wrap up, we're going to build our most complex crew yet. A crew that is going to be able to tailor-made your resume to any job posting out there, increasing your odds of getting an interview. So make sure to stick around for that because honestly, things are only going to get more interest from here out. So what we will build in this course? Let's look at this full stack engineering job posting. So you can see there's a bunch of interesting stuff in here. If you look close at the job description, you're going to notice that they're basically looking for a full stack developer. They want someone that nails both front and back end. And there's a bunch of like actual criteria in there. They want you to be able to write APIs and to have experience with databases and all that. So this is what Noah's profile looks like. I'm not going to read over it, but let's highlight some of the stuff. You can see that Noah is trying to highlight how he's a good leader. So he mentioned how he has excelled in leading teams both remote and in an office. He mentioned some data science and machine learning, and he also mentions about deploying scalable AI solutions. That has nothing to do with the actual position that Noah wants to apply. But if you dig in there, you're going to notice that Noah also has some of those skills. You can see that it mentions there that it knows Ruby, Python, JavaScript, that it has been a software engineer for 18 years. So there is definitely enough things in there that kind of could explore and that make Noah qualify for this position. So how do we make sure that we help Noah to highlight out that in his resume so that he increases his odds of getting an actual interview for the position that he does wants to apply? Well, you can use agents to do it. In our case, by the end of this course, you're going to be able to put together a multi-agent system that does that. And that will do that by leveraging 4 different agents. It's going to have a tech job researcher, a personal profile for engineer, a resume strategist for engineers, and an engineering interviewer preparer. Together, those 4 agents will have a few tools that they're going to be able to use. From searching the internet all the way to do rag over your resume, everything to kind of like help, in this case, our friend Noah, but yourself as well, to make sure that you're highlighting the right skills for the job. So this is what the new profile looks like. Let's compare both for a second. So in the second one, you can see that it was highlighting a lot of his leading experiences. But now in the second one, it's kind of like doubling down on the other skills that he has that better match the job that he's applying to. You can see that we mentioned JavaScript, Python, Ruby. We also mentioned UI, UX. You mentioned how he knows HTML and CSS. It's everything in there. So it's still the same profile and the same skill set, but framed in a way that now better allows them, or in this case allows Noah, to get the interview that he desires. So stick around if you want to build this, because by the end of it, you're going to be able to build not only these, but way more complex groups of multi-agents that are going to be able to do a bunch of automation for you. All right, so what is agentic automation? If you think about what automation used to be like before, it was something completely different. In the past, you would say, hey, I want to go from point A to point B. And you could write code to automate that. And then what happens is that as edge cases appears, you start to kind of make that a little more complex. You start to add a lot of conditions and ifs analysis there. Where like, well, if X, do C, if Z, do D, and you can see how these things can become quite complex, especially as you start to adding more and more edge cases. So in the old days, whenever you're trying to do automations, what you end up with is this very complex code base with a lot of different conditions and edge cases, and you just can never cover it all. The beauty of agentic automations is that you don't need to drown the map. You can show the options. So it's fundamentally a new way to write software.
All right, so in regular applications, you have strong inputs. So you know exactly the data that is get into your application. You understand if that's a string, if that's an integer, if that's a float. You have a very clear understanding of that. And then you also have a very clear understanding on what is the mathematical operation that you might be doing with that or any other heuristics. So you know if you're multiplying those numbers together, if you're interpolating their string, whatever is happening in there, you have fully control and understanding of what it is. And because of that, you also understand what is the output. You know if the output's going to be another float or another integer or another string, you can replicate it. And that's the beauty of regular engineering. But with these new AI applications, you have something else differently. You have a fuzzy input, meaning that you don't know what the user is input into your application. So you know that is a string because we're talking about an LLM, but you don't know if it's a string that represents tabular data, if it's a markdown, if it's a regular text, or if it's a math operation. And then the transformations are also fuzzy because they're LLMs. You don't know if the LLM will decide to transform this into a list or if it's write a full-blown paragraph. And because of that, you don't know exactly what the output will be because it can take different forms and shapes depending on the inputs and on the transformations. But that's the beauty of it. There's a place in the world right now where these fuzzy applications make way more sense than regular existing software applications. So that's the main reason why people like ChatGPT so much. If you think about ChatGPT, that's an AI application with fuzzy inputs. You don't know what your user is putting in the chat. It's also fuzzy transformations. You don't know what the LLM will do with that data. And it's also fuzzy outputs. You don't know what will be the final output, what will be the final response for that user input. And that's why people love it, because it's something they can relate to. If you think about the world as we have today, the world is a fuzzy place. So this is the beauty about AI applications, is that it's a valuable tool that has its merits and places where you want fuzzy applications and where you want strong typed applications, and each one has its merits and its place depending on the software that you're trying to build.
So let's look at some actual example here. Let's talk about data collection and analysis. And if you have been working in engineering for a while, you're probably familiar with this. Your company probably has a website that captures leads data through a form, and those leads eventually go into your sales team that are going to try to make them into customers. So this is very usual for most of the businesses out there. And the way that these leads become customers is by prioritizing them. And there's a bunch of ways that companies use to do that. So you have your form and you capture information about this company through that form, and then goes through an automated process of classifying these leads, where you might look at some data points like, hey, is this company a big company? It has more than 10 employees. Is this company located in the US, or is this company located somewhere else? And depending on the answers for those questions, you might give a different score for these companies or treat them differently on your sales process. So this is regular data analysis and data collection. But it turns out that now that you can use multi-agent systems, you can go beyond that and you can go even further. So let's try something different. Let's think how a crew of AI agents could actually help us here and do something that's better than what we have been doing through the past few years. Let's add a crew of AI agents on the lead generation process. So what you can do now, instead of having all those ifs analysis, analyzing like specific data points for the companies, you could have these AI agents do research, go out there and do data collection. And this research can be searching Google, can be searching online, can be searched on an internal database or internal data set that you might have, whatever you want. Any place where you can find more information about these companies. Then you can also have these agents draw comparisons between these companies and companies that you already have in your data set, companies that you're already talking to, companies that turned out to be great customers. And then you can also have these AI agents do some scoring so they can actually score this company and making sure that this company has a score that you can actually prioritize and decide to who you're going to be sending it to. And then the final point is coming up with talking points. So not only doing the research, the comparison, and scoring, but also getting ahead and making sure that you know what are the topics that you should bring up when you go out and reach out to this customer and what that conversation should look like. And now you can take that and send that to your sales team. And you have a way better data set to work with than what you used to have before. So this is a great example on how regular automation can actually become way better by using agentic automation. All right, so we talked a lot about agents so far. We talked about a lot of different types of automations. But in the end of the day, what are agents? So let's talk about that for a second and step back.
Great. So a couple of concepts I want to walk you through here before we moving on to the hands-on portion. I think as we're getting started with the Python code, I want to make sure you understand these three concepts. So fundamentally, Crew AI is an open source Python framework designed to orchestrate role-playing autonomous AI agents. Like what mentioned in the video, AI agents, they're like your employees. Each of them has their own roles in order to, executive different functionalities. And you are building a crew of these AI agents who have to work with each other in order to achieve your overarching objectives. So there are three things you will see when you move on to the code part. One is agent. Agent is basically a fundamental component designed to perform specific tasks within our multi-agent system. The second part is task. So for your employees, you have to give them specific task. This is the same thing. You have to tell your agent what they need to do, what your expectation looks like, so they can grow with the multi-agent system. And then you consolidate all these pieces together and you build a team. That's your crew. Crew's role is to orchestrate the collaboration of multiple agents and tasks in order to enable the execution of the complex workflow. Cool. I realized that I didn't share the deep learning AI link ahead of time. So maybe what we can do right now. Give me 1 second. I think I lost this one. Yes, so for those of you, who have your laptops ready, let's go to this URL. It's a deep learning AI URL. Can people at the back see this clearly? Or is there a way that I can post the URL somewhere so everyone can log in? Because we need the hosted sandbox environment to do our Python coding. Can people see in the back? No? Okay. Let's do this. Let me see if I should generate a QR code or something. Let me first post this to my presentation deck. I have post the link to the course here. So if those of you who have your laptops ready, can you go to this URL? We're going to utilize the Jupyter Notebook provided as part of this course to do our hands-on exercises. So it's https learn.deeplearning.ai/courses/ multi-AI agent system with Crew AI. So I will wait for a couple of minutes to make sure you can go to the website, launch the course, then we will move on to the Jupyter Notebook session. So can our mentors raise your hands so I know who you are? I know we have some mentors. Great. Thank you. Great, thank you. Yeah, so if anyone has questions, let our mentors know. They will be able to provide guidance as well. So I will wait for a couple of minutes to make sure those of you who have your laptops ready can go to this URL, launch the exercise, and we will start the hands-on portion. Let me try again. Cool. Yeah, let's try this URL. This URL should work. Yeah, just append a few portions there. Yeah, I'm not able to go to crew.ai website. If you are able to go to crew.ai website, there's a direct link to redirect you to the deep learning AI course. So I will again give a few minutes to make sure everyone is able to access the course. Okay. I think it's because we have a lot of traffic here. I know. Let me try to create a QR code. So how many of you are not able to get onto the course yet? Please probably raise up a hand. We do have a QR code generated here. Maybe we can walk around, let you scan the QR code to make this more efficient. So if you are not able to get onto the course yet, raise your hand. Maybe one of our mentors can help you. Okay, there. Can our mentors help to see the ones who are not able to get onto the course? Cool. Cool. Since most of you are able to start the course, so let's move on. Let's now go to create agents to research and write an article. Let's launch this together. So there's a video. We don't have to do the video. I will walk you through the Jupyter Notebook, so you will be able to build agents to help you create an article. So it will take a second for the Jupyter Notebook to load. Great. So again, I will wait a bit to when most of you are able to go to the Jupyter Notebook portion. Okay, can we get started? So let's get started. So in this particular example, we're going to create multi-agents to research and write an article. And we're going to utilize the Crew AI library built on top of Nvidia's infrastructure and utilize the Nvidia's NeMo framework. If you want to run this locally, you have to utilize pip install to install the Crew AI library. But for the sake of today's workshop, we're going to utilize this sandbox environment to do this. So I believe all of you knows how to run Jupyter Notebook. So let's just go through this together. And in this first exercise is fairly straightforward. We're going to utilize these 3 classes provided by the Crew AI library: agent, task, and a crew. And for our large language model, we're going to utilize OpenAI's GPT 3.5 turbo model. And certainly you can swap this out and change the name of the foundation model you want to use here. So let me see. So let's run this together. Yeah, it seems to be slow because of the internet. It's not running. Are you guys able to run the code? Maybe I can restart. Okay, I see some of you are okay to proceed. Maybe I can restart my kernel and try again. It's not responsive. I'm not able to run the code, but I can walk you through the code base. So we talked about, it's straightforward. First, we need to import a Crew AI library and our agent, task, crew class. Specifically for this Jupyter Notebook, we utilize the GPT 3.5 turbo. And the next step is to create your AI agents. So here, we're going to create a multiple agent and assign them different roles. So the first agent is a content planner. So you're building your own writers team. So you have to have different roles with your team. You have a content planner, you have your own writer, and you have your own editor. So each of these will be represented by an AI agent. So the first agent we're going to create is content planner. So the role you're going to assign it is content planner. And you have to set your objective for this role. So that's your expectation for this role. So you want your content planner to plan engaging and factually accurate content on certain topic. And then you give it a little bit backstory to help your agent better scope out his or her role. So what the agent is tasked to do is working on planning a blog article about this specific topic. He or she will be in charge of collecting information to help the audience learn something new. So in this particular case, we're not going to let the agent dedicate the work. And we're going to make the process verbose so you can see all the thinking process. So similarly, we're going to create a second agent who is going to be a content writer. And the objective for this role is to write insightful story on this particular topic. And you give more backstory here. The third part is an editor. The third agent we're creating is an editor. So once we have writers coming up with the story, your editor is supposed to do proofreading to ensure it added that aligns with the best practices. Let me try again to see if I'm able to run the code. Yes, for those of you who are able to run the code yourself, feel free to change the parameters here to make it a more engaging experience for you. So the first part, we create 3 agents. Now we have to assign them tasks. So when we need to create a task, for each agent, we're going to create an individual task. So the first task is plan task. Here, you provide a detailed description, the expected outcome for your planner agent. Similarly, you do the same thing for your writer agent and your editor agent. So once you have these pieces ready, you utilize the third class crew to build your team. So your 3 agents are your team members. Each of them is in charge of one single task. Then you run it, and it will help you come up with an article on artificial intelligence. So I will pause for a few minutes here, so if you're able to run the code yourself in your Jupyter Notebook environment, test it out, get a flavor of it, and feel free to change, for example, the topic, or simply add another AI agent to make your multi-agent system even more powerful. I will walk around to see if I can help some of you to advance your progress here. Yes, looks like I had an internet issue. Now I'm able to run the code. Yeah, so let me quickly click through this because we already talked about the content. So we created 3 agents assigning to different roles. Now we're creating 3 different tasks. Then our crew. So let's do something fun. Instead of utilizing artificial intelligence as topic, let's write a blog post for TWIG Academy. Yeah, I think the internet is still a little bit slow because we should be able to see the reasoning process and how planner, writer, editor coordinating with each other to come up with the blog post. So I will give it a second here while walking around to help you. See, like this part, everything works for the teams here. I want to make sure most of you are able to see some results after this AI agents. Everything okay? So I'll move on. So I see the tables in the front, most of you are able to finish the first project. Congratulations. So think about the AI agents. Think about the crew is your own company. You're building a team of different employees. So each agent is one of your employees. So you have to give your employees their roles, the job expectation, and the specific tasks they're working on. So that's what we're doing here. We're orchestrating a group of employees so they can deliver your business objectives. So in the first case we did here, we made it simple. All of our employees are powered by a single large language model, which is the GPT 3.5 turbo model. And in real life use cases, each agent can be powered by a different large language model, maybe a research model and a language model and a visual model. So they will be able to do more complex tasks. I know some of the girls out there, they tried Arabic prompts as well and are able to get the result. So be brave, try something else, and probably you can even extend this and add another AI agent. So let's move on. I want to guide you through one more Jupyter notebook. Then you can really explore this on your own and build a more complex AI system. So let's move on to talk about multi-agent customer support. So we're launching another Jupyter notebook here, multi-agent customer support automation. So this will take probably a few minutes of our time, and then feel free to explore anything. Yeah, so this is an extension of what we talked about before, but here we're further enhance the capabilities of our agents to make it more capable. And we're utilizing different attributes provided by the agent class. So here you can see our agent is capable of doing role playing. They have to have a specific focus so they can do a better job in their area of expertise. We do provide different tools to enhance the capability of our agent. They have to cooperate with each other. And in order to make your content safe, you're also going to utilize the guardrail capability to add guardrail around the large language model. So if you're ready, let's move on to lesson 3. The Jupyter notebook. We're going to quickly go through this together. Same thing, we're going to import Crew AI. We're going to utilize the same classes. So here, we first created a senior support agent. We assigned goals, backstories, and then quality assurance, a QA agent. So in the second agent we created here, we removed the allow delegation. So by default, allow delegation is true, which means one employee can delegate his or her task to another employee. So here, this agent is capable of delegating his or her work to another agent. So support quality assurance agent can delegate work back to the support agent. So this agent is going to work together with each other. So as part of a Crew AI library, there are also different tools we can utilize. Web search, script website, So here we give our agent, specific website to help them search content. So this is similar to what we talked about when we introduced the data curator as part of NVIDIA NeMo framework. So because of these tools, we extend the capabilities of our agents so they're capable of searching different websites, do data curation. Then we create our crew. Okay, I'm able to see the result this time. So again, feel free to play with different attributes, different parameters to make this more meaningful to you. Yeah, and from there, I believe you already have the basic building blocks to create your own multi-agent system. So let's utilize the rest of the workshop, the remaining half an hour, to build your own multi-agent system. In the meantime, I will bring back the slides where we show the QR code that we're going to provide to TWIG Academy students. Also, you can follow us on X, Nvidia ME, Nvidia Middle East, Nvidia ME. So follow our handle on X, and you will be able to get more information from Nvidia.
السلام عليكم. بليز حاولوا ان تسجلون على السيرتيفيكت عشان تجيكم اي شهاده تبغونها من انفيديا. فبليز يعني من الحين خذوا الباركود قبل لا يفوتكم.
So one thing I want to mention is I noticed that many of you are from startups. So tomorrow evening at 4 p.m., same time, same venue, we're going to host an event specifically for startups. Many of the startups we're working with, they're still running into challenges with GPU access. So Nvidia does offer a complimentary startup program called Nvidia Inception Program, where we provide a significant amount of cloud credits. So go back to your question. If you want H100, H200, utilize your startup to register for Nvidia Inception Program. In the kingdom, a lot of well-known startups are part of our Inception family: Foodix, Masterworks, Lucidia, Mosen, Fathom. So they're all benefiting from NVIDIA's Inception offering and the Inception or technology stack. So if you're a startup, feel free to join us again tomorrow, 4 p.m., same venue. We're going to have a networking event with Garage startups. Thank you.
السلام عليكم. الحين بنبدأ اللقاء التفاعلي. معنا دكتور عمر نجار. He's a Nvidia certified ambassador. Actually, one of the programs that we did here at طويق Academy, we did a TOT, train the trainers. And with that, you can become an Nvidia certified ambassador. We announced 2 programs, both are NLPs. One is a normal NLP certification, and the other one is NLP certification to become a Nvidia certified ambassador.
Okay, great. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Actually, I am very excited to be here representing TOEIC Academy and Nvidia Workshop Ambassador. So I am Omar Najjar, Senior Academic Researcher at TOEIC Academy, and also I recently being certified from Nvidia as an ambassador. So today we have I am trying to make it very motivational speech for everyone here who wants to become a leader. And the first step of you to become a leader is through learning. Learning is very important. And actually, when I first took Nvidia certification, it was not about teaching. It was about learning. Learning every single day. This is how you make leaders. And let me give you my advice. In order to become a leader, you just need 3 things: to stay consistent, curious, and connected. So let's start with a show of hand from you. So who here has ever taught AI or NLP to someone else? I want to see hands. Okay, so here is a very quick 1-minute activity. I want you to think of any AI or NLP idea, and I want to teach the person next to you this idea very quickly. And if someone who wants to speak loud and explain one concept in AI, we will pass a mic for him. Please. The mics. Okay. Please, I want to hear some voices here. I want to listen to AI ideas, NLP concepts, any algorithms, any models that you can think of. If you can pass the mic to someone to speak loud. Who's want to participate and tell us one AI or NLP concepts? Very quick.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone.
Salam.
So, to explain something, I think it's very impressive about current AI. It's how can AI understand our language? How can it understand the words? So it's called embeddings. And what's doing, it's taking the actual words, like tea or food, any specific bread, let's say. And how can the AI actually understand it? It by transferring this word into actual numbers. So by visualizing these numbers into, let's say, 1,000 numbers, it can understand the differences between these words. And this is in a brief.
Great, great. The moment he now speak and teach you this idea, he become more confidence, right, in this information, and it let him understand more deep about the topic. And this is every time you explain a model or a concept, your confidence, you will build your confidence as educator or innovator. Let's pass now to something very important, which is the power of preparation. And this is actually what I have did when I took the certification from Nvidia. So I summarized all the materials, presentations, code, everything into 100 questions and answers that explain the workshop. This is not about learning. No, I just wanted to understand how AI really works. So my advice for you, and this is the tip for today, my advice for you is don't rush the learning progress. Just enjoy the struggle, and that's where growth will happen. One of the best things that I advise you to do, just go to Nvidia website, search to any tool, any model, any kind of tool they have, from TensorRT, Nemo, whatever, and start learning it very deep, and build a real project. It could be small, but make it meaningful. This is the idea, because mastering something will build through focus. Actually, this is the time is to moving from learning to teaching. And this is coming soon by طويق Academy, inshallah. We are running these workshops, and to go through my experience in learning into teaching it. So teaching NLP actually, and this is my message, because I am specialized in Arabic NLP and natural language processes. So my teaching here in NLP is just not about the models or the concept or anything. No, we need to build you to shape the future of AI landscape, because this is our language, and what we are trying to do is to make it this language from low resource into high resource. And this is something can be done by this amazing community who attended today. Okay, so I believe most of you here looking for certificates to build their skills, to boost their skills in order to get a career, right? So let me give you something. Recruiters today look for 3 significant things: strong fundamentals, real projects, and clear storytelling. If you can tell your story, the best project that you are proud of, if you can tell it in 20 seconds, problem, solution, methods, and everything, you nailed it. You nailed the job. So what I am going to do now, I want you to quickly, in 2 minutes, think of a project that you are proud of. Then tell your neighbor, your next mates about these projects. Very quickly. And I want to hear the voice from all of you telling the best project that you are proud of. And if someone wants to tell us about this project, please, we will pass the mic for it. Let's start. Do it. Anyone want to tell us about a project he's proud of? Maybe he participated in some hackathon and he won, or he's like capstone projects he did. Yes, we have someone here. Please.
I have worked on a project called SecWiz and GitHub. It's scanning a website for any SQL vulnerability using AI. Also, it has the power to scan any Python code and get the vulnerability from it.
Great, great. You see now, I think most of you shared some projects, and this is exactly your interview story. It just need to be concise, confident, and authentic. At the end, I found out that consistency beats complexity. You know why? So I was thinking that reading every paper, trying every model in generative AI is my way to be like, have very experience or knowledge about this model. It is not about that. When it just needs from you just 1 hour per day, but every day. 1 hour per day, but every day. That's how leaders are built. Don't wait for motivations. Build your habits. And if you are consistent, you will outperform even the most talented person. That's it for my talk, and I'm happy to answer some of the questions related to what I have said. Thank you. Okay, please, if we can go like in two or three questions very fast. Any questions about NLP, AI, or how you can build your career, learning process, teaching?
Hello.
Hello.
I would like to ask how to be Nvidia ambassador.
Okay, so ambassador program or workshop ambassador program from Nvidia is basically targeted university instructors who have PhD program. So simply if you are teaching in university or you have a PhD certificate, just apply for our next workshop, inshallah, coming like in November, I think. Just you saw the registration link that was first. So if you registered, inshallah, we will accept you. And we are welcoming everyone to register, and inshallah, you will get accepted with the ambassador.
Excuse me, what if I'm working in the field of AI and I'm not certified?
Yes.
But I'm working and using LLMs on the daily basis, and I'm also doing machine learning.
Yeah, it's very clear. And I just gave you the recipe of getting like to find your job, right? It is not about certification, it's about your strong knowledge. And it is not about experience, it's about how you tell your story. So build your skills by projects, take certifications, why not? Now we have millions of certifications. If you go to Nvidia website, you will find like more than 100 courses that you can take. So this is one step. Attend like these workshops, increase your knowledge, get connected. As I mentioned, the 3 things to become from learner to leader. It's just to be consistent, authentic, and you know how to work in this. Okay, so.
One more thing, please.
Yes.
I have above 200 micro-credentials. Is it beneficial?
Again?
I have above 200 micro-credentials. Is it beneficial, or should I get a professional certification?
200 what?
Micro-credentials.
Okay. Anyway, you have maybe certifications or something. As much as you have from these certificates, skills, you are more open to more job. And let me tell you something. Today, the world is changing. We don't have data scientist, we have AI engineer. We don't have programmer, we have prompt engineer, right? Different positions needs people with different skills, with different certification. So why not increase your knowledge, go ahead with this certification, and it will, of course, will boost your skills for the next job. Okay, so I know a lot of the questions we have, but I hope from the speech that we can conclude with what I tried to deliver today. Just stay connected. Open your mind to all the opportunities that are coming from here and from what TWIG Academy is provided for you. This is your chance, this is your moment, and people outside wait for the next generation, which is you. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. We will wrap up today. Thank you, everyone, for coming here today. And you'll be getting both. If you missed the vouchers, please let us know, and then we can send that over, as well as you'll be getting a certificate from TWIG Academy as well. Thank you, everyone, for joining here today, and I hope we all learned a bit more than we did before. So thank you, everyone. A round of applause.